On to the next one, and we got a heck of one coming up for you. Jordan Hunt, before we play our video, buddy, unveil, unmute. Ryan and I were joking before the last call that we're extremely grateful that Jordan came on because he's balancing out the hair club situation. All of his special guests have great hair, so it won't be as sheeny as maybe as Brian and I. Jordan, I was hanging out with you at Brian Delaney's wedding, and in between fits of laughter, because I think we were laughing the entire time, we just started talking about, and I was talking with Gino as well, just about virtual sales and how much of it you guys are doing and how can we kind of hone in on how to get better at it. You know, what are some of the tricks that we've learned? Early on, people would say the show rates weren't as good. People would say the close ratios weren't as good. That was early on. And there's a reason for that, because we were doing something completely different and differently than we'd ever done it. And so, of course, those things weren't going to be as good as what we'd done for the past 20 years. You guys have really figured this stuff out and made the changes necessary to hone in on all those things: how to get more people to show up, how to increase premium, how to increase close ratios. And I'm really excited about the call because I think there are a lot of tricks that you guys have learned. Before we play a video, what you want to give them a sneak peek of what's to come, buddy?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, Brandon, man, just for giving us the opportunity. I'm Jordan Hunt, direct to Brian Delaney. Very, very, very lucky. I'm honored and blessed, to be so, and just have the opportunity to come on here and share. Really fired up for these guys. I have three agency owners, Gino, Aaron, and Devin, as well as key leader Luke Jackson. They're going to be able to come on and share with us, like a spectrum, talking about virtual sales, talking about overcoming adversity there, going through the quitting phase, what all these different, levels and phases of the business look like. So really, really, really looking forward to it, man.
It's going to be good. I have no doubt. You got some superstars on with you today. So let's mute and veil for a second. I think we've got a video to play. I think Ariel can hit that.
Didn't we all grow up thinking that we were going to be somebody special? But as we grow up, life gets busy. We go to school, we get jobs, we have kids, and we get into routines, don't we? And we go from dreaming of a life of significance to living a life of struggle.
See, I wasn't just broke, I was broken. And for the next 6 years, I fell into a rut. And slowly but surely, I forgot how to dream.
Have you ever felt that disconnect between the life you're currently living and the greatness that you know is inside of you, like this chasm between your potential and your current situation? But what if greatness is actually something within you that's waiting to be uncovered?
We are all becoming something with every breath we take, every thought we think, every decision we make. In this very moment, you are becoming something different than you were in the moment before. The question we should all ask is, am I happy with what I'm becoming?
I learned a long time ago that you can't go back and have a brand new start, but you can start now and have a brand new end.
See, I don't know what you're watching. I don't know who's watching. I don't know why you're watching. But what if this is your second shot at life? What if this is it?
Stepping into the culture here at Symmetry that was created by Brendan Ellison, Casey Watkins, and Brian Pope gave me a precious thing: opportunity. The opportunity to decide who I was becoming and not to just be dragged by the constantly flowing river of life.
If you're sitting out there and you're stuck, if you're sitting out there and you're desperate for a change, me too. Me too. I was too. But I'm telling you, there's hope. See, you're part of a company that doesn't care about the mess you show up with. No. See, here, you get rewarded for the heart you play with.
Maybe the problem with my life was not that I was unlovable, it's not that I wasn't good enough, it's that I quit everything. And what if I didn't quit? Where would I be?
You've been spending so much time looking for an answer, praying for an answer, hoping for an answer, waiting for an answer, and I'm telling you today, you are an answer.
I think most people in America are not happy with the picture they painted. But see, you come to Symmetry. Symmetry has lots of easels. They have lots of canvases. They'll give you an easel, they'll give you a canvas. They have an unbelievable amount of paint, all different colors, and you have access to all of that, where you can paint you a new picture to live in. See, I believe that Symmetry is a company of destiny. I believe there's something special about this company.
I've said it before, but I hope you all listen to me, that it's important to design your life that will allow you to dream like you'll live forever, but being so intentional that every day could be your last. Turn those some days into some today.
Because 10 years from now, I want you to look back at this moment on this day and know that it was the day you decided to be great.
If you're ready to get in the cockpit, pull back that throttle, and fly, we can take this thing to a whole new level.
Man, Spivey, that was a good one. It's hard. It's hard to stream video over Zoom, but man,
it's hard to stream it, but
golly,
man, that was powerful.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
I know, man. I remember every single one of those speeches, and I remember while they were giving it, thinking exactly what Danny Young was saying, like, this is special. God, this is special. So many of those people, every one of the speakers were just nailing it. You know, we got to figure out a way, and I'll work on this. There probably already is a way. It's already happening, and I don't know about it, but we got to make these speeches available again. Every single one of them.
If you're new with this, just think what you just saw or what you just heard. That was not a professional speaking convention.
It's crazy.
That was the leaders of Symmetry that have been in the seat that you're in today and built themselves into what you just saw. It's incredible.
Yeah, we've had speakers come in the past, and we pay, you know, not huge speakers, but $20,000-$25,000, and they were good. And then you'd have some of this crew up there, and they're like, "Good Lord, they weren't nearly as good as that."
It's very true. I've been around that world, that speaking world, and we've got the cream of the crop for certain.
Yep, absolutely. It was one of the most, I guess, one of the most fulfilling things at this last filming of the conference. I talked to pretty much every speaker, and I just got to say, "What's your process? What do you do? What's it like? What do you go through? How many hours you put into it?" Man, some of them will blow you away at just how much and how hard they work at it to make an impact. Hundreds of hours. No notes, just up there killing it. So my buddy Casey Watkins isn't with us today because he is out in Denver, Colorado, actually on his way home right now, but making sure that we're all good to go for February of 2022 when we all get back together and do this in person again.
Called me, Brandon, right before the national call. We were catching up on some things, and he simply said, it is going to be the top most premier venue for a national conference we've ever had.
Oh, no doubt.
He said you can sit in the last seat in the back of the theater, and you can hear the person clearly talking from stage without a microphone. It's going to be intimate. It's going to be an incredible venue to be a part of. And I also will go ahead and give you a warning. There's only 5,000 seats, and they're going to be gone.
It will sell out. So we're not selling those yet before we start getting a lot of questions. Can't buy them yet. Your focus needs to be if your upline, if your direct is having an altitude conference, get to that first. We're going to be announcing a tour coming up. Marshall Whalen, Edward Pritchett reached out to us a couple of weeks ago, maybe just last week, Todd, saying, hey, best questions you can ever ask us, by the way, is what can we do to help? Here's what we're thinking. Would it be okay with you if we guys put this whole thing together? Absolutely. So I can see, probably if I had to guess, a 50 city, if not more, tour coming up. Now, not all of them. I'm not backing Edward and Marshall into a corner saying they will be at 50 cities. They're probably like, whoa, we didn't say 50. But all the directs will be stepping up. All the AOs will be stepping up, and there will be a tour coming up. So it's going to be good. We have a lot to cover today. Mr.
Real
Spivey?
quick on an update on a question you just had. All speeches are available in Quility U for people to watch at their leisure.
Nice guys.
Level Up Virtual Conference.
Nice
Except
guys.
our buddy Matthew McConaughey.
Oh,
Not in there.
we couldn't negotiate that well, could we?
No replays allowed. He had to be
No
5
replays
minutes first.
allowed. We'll have bootlegged versions on YouTube soon. We'll let you know. Not really, though. We'll not do that.
We'll get somebody
Just
to
in case McConaughey
do it with a
says-
camcorder, like on Seinfeld. Just a little camcorder.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, we got a good one today. In case you missed the builders call, we gave a little bit, or you were late hopping onto this one. We gave a little bit of a heads up on what we've got going on. Jordan Hunt, Gino Locklear, Aaron McLean, Devin Johnson, key leader Mr. Steven Jackson. No limits on building an agency and maximizing your virtual sales. And I am as excited, if not more excited, for this call than I've been in a long time. I was talking to you, Jordan, and to Gino a couple of months ago. We were at a wedding together, and I was blown away at everything you guys were telling me. And I said, we got to get you on a conference call ASAP to talk about all of this. So you guys are going to absolutely love it. Before we get to it, I got some news, I got some leaderboards, and I got some announcements. Good bounce back week, by the way, from last week, which was Memorial Day, right? Not Labor Day. I always get those two confused. Memorial Day. And I would say as a producer and as a leader, one of the things that we didn't talk about before that we should be talking about right now, because we've got Costa Rica coming up. And then after that, we've got the 4th of July coming up. You got to plan for these things so that you don't skip a week of production, right? The beauty of virtual sales, and really the beauty of any type of sales with our system, is you can do it whenever you want to do it. So if you're gone for a couple of days, or if you take a day off, just plan ahead. If you're accustomed to making your dials on a Saturday, most of you are accustomed to making your dials every day now. Just remember, a holiday only has to be one day. Maybe you want to take 2 or 3 days off. We want you to be able to do all of that. I just don't like seeing people kind of forget to teach and mentor their agents and let them know that these type things are coming, right? So got the 4th of July right around the corner. We also have Costa Rica, where a lot of people are going to be gone. What plans are you making to make sure that you don't take a big step back? Huge rebound this week, though. So congratulations to everybody that stepped up and did that. Top first-time writer for the week, Serene Item, $5,212. Well done. Top 10 producers for the week, Hannah Rose Grace, Gabrielle and Ike Munello with $21,000, and Jennifer Giovanni, $31,282 in premium. Whoa. I think I only had about 5 30,000 plus months in my sales career, and it went on for 10 years. Well done, Jennifer. Good Lord. Eric and Julie on the app count. We're going to see some big app counts right now. Contest, we went by app count. 48 for Jennifer. Scott Forehand wrote 52 apps. And Gabrielle and Ike Munello wrote 65.
Ow.
65.
Wow.
Lord have mercy. Congratulations to Patricia Elmo, our top med sup writer for the week. Top DI writer for the week, Kathy Fennell, $1,675. All just little add-on policies. That's all we're doing. Top IUL producer for the week, Karen Young, 12 grand. That means it's capped, which means it was a lot more than that. Well done, Karen. Top annuity producers, Melinda, Maria, and Michael. $440,881 for Lydecker. Well done, buddy. He's an annuity animal. DFL, Tyler Hunt, Ike Monello with Gabrielle. Theo Pritchett, number 1, 10,880. That's senior, Mr. Pritchett, we call him around here. Total recruits week to date. Look at this. Good Lord, Dana. George and Janet tied for 9 in the base shop. Total direct recruits, Chris Cook. There's a tight one this week. 37 Pokes, 36, KP, 34. Well done. Licensed recruits, logjam there with 3 with George and Janet Matthews, Dana Helson, Chris Cook. And the number 1 licensed recruit direct agency was Mr. Chris Cook with 20. Riders, Ashley Tarr and Matt and Brad Smith tied for 3 in the base. Number 1, Jacob Pogue in the direct. Also 5 apiece for Ashley and KP. Well done, guys. Seasoned new agents. There's a lot of you. Brielle Sutton, Carl Provenzano, Eleanor Jansen, Emma Schmidt, Jason Wells, Kristen Adams, Lavicia, Bernie, Petitra Caldwell, Tatua, Samatua, and Wael Ali. It seems like they kind of grouped all the tough ones together.
That was a good run at it though, buddy.
I think I gave it my best. I'm probably getting my phone's gonna go ding, ding, ding. I got every single one of them wrong, I'm sure.
If you're new with this too, just remember, seasoned new agent is an agent that comes in the first 6 weeks, writes 6 applications. And that's not just the end point. What we find is those that have that early success have a greater than almost 90% chance to go on to become what we call elite lead takers. And which means they've figured out this business enough to be consistent and start being profitable at a very early age, which allows them to open up those doors for success so much quicker. So really work with your agents. Let's focus on these S&As, and congrats to all these tough names Brandon just rambled off.
Yeah. Key leaderboards. They're a little grainy. It happens sometimes. Nothing we can do about it always. David Whiteman, top key leader for the week with 32,000. Martin Newbauer, 49,000 is the top AO for the week. Top agency director, Larry and Ann Griffin. Top regional agency director, Eileen Balmer. Jordan and Janet right behind. Top MVP, Scott Summers. Top SVP, Kim Burrell. Top executive vice president, Ashley Tarr with a monster week. Well done. Top associate partner, Lynn Watkins, $631,000. Big one. Top senior partner, Edward Pritchett, over $1 million. And top managing partner, Marshall Whalen, also over $1 million. Look how close that is. $20,000 separates the two.
That's
well
amazing.
done, Pritchett. You got it this week. Can't tell you who's going to be on top next week because these two are neck and neck every week.
Running that size of an organization too, Brandon, and reaching out and really stepping in to help out some major activities coming up in the fall. So
yeah, I love it. It's like some people get to where they want and, get content or complacent, complacement sets in, and some people don't have that mode. Some people say, appreciate you. How can we give back? And that's what most of our top leaders do. And they continue giving it to their own organizations, but also to the company as a whole. So can't say enough about that. KP, number 1 on the directs board, number 1 base shop, Mr. Pritchett with 70,000, pushing towards 100, he says, by the end of the quarter. Maybe not the end of the quarter. We'll say within the next 90 days. End of the quarter is like what, 2 weeks? Is that right? Oh, here we go. Spivey's the big one. Big Daddy. All right, first place in the producers bracket. Your choice between a week in Punta Mita, Mexico, or Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Second place, 500 Symmetry bucks. That's league credits. It's any kind of swag you want in the Quility store. Third place, 250. Fourth place, 100. Fifth place gets, this has to be a typo, a polio vaccine from 1980.
Love it.
That's, I don't know if that's still FDA approved. Is it FDA, Todd? Are they the Food and Drug Administration, right?
Yeah, it would be the FDA approved, and I'm fairly certain they would rule against this.
Okay. That's what you get for coming in 5th place, I guess. You have to take a shot for a disease that's already been eradicated, I believe, hasn't it? Isn't polio we took care of that one, right?
We got ahead of that one. We got ahead of that one pretty well.
Okay. I don't know. We could say, or something of equal value. Because some people are like, I don't take vaccines. I'll say, okay, you don't have to do whatever you want to do.
You can get a shot of B12. I mean, everybody needs a little B12.
I don't want them to come away empty-handed. A shot of B12, wouldn't that just be like a 5-hour energy drink?
Kinda. It makes you feel healthy.
Okay.
Gives you a little energy for sure.
All right. Well, let's see who wins then. Start with 5th place. I'd be nervous if I were fifth place right now. Well, we don't even have fifth place. Oh, there's a tie.
We do. We have a typo. Number 4, the bottom number 4 is number 5.
I see. This one got past me. So James Satterfield, who I think used to be the lead singer for Metallica, he wins the polio vaccine. Congratulations. Eric and Julie Prabula, $100. Jennifer Giovanni, $250. Gabrielle and Ike Manello, $500. Good Lord, Scott Forehand, number 1. That's a big number to beat. Way to go, Scott Forehand. It is your choice.
Where do you think he's going to go here?
Punta Cana, right? Is that right? Close by?
Going Mexico, or is he going Colorado?
You got a 4 Seasons in Mexico, or you've got a really nice condo in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. You are on the clock. We'll be reaching out to you later to let you make first pick. See which one you like best. Top 3 directs. Ziller with a heck of a quarter, man. Great job. I guess it's 6 weeks, not a quarter, but still 41% up. Chris Cook, 42% up. Puckett, 100. Puckett doubled up. What did you do, Puckett? Inquiring minds want to know. What did you do? Ziller says and Cook say that they're playing this under protest. I never really understood, like back in the day, you could play a game under protest.
Right.
Remember baseball games would do that. We're playing this.
What does that really mean?
I never saw anything overturned. Is it just like you saying, I've been wronged? Doggone it. Playing this under
Well, Cook's a Tennessee fan. It's not unlikely for them to, request a lot of games under protest.
I didn't say it, Cook. You see how I'm biting my tongue? Because they taught me that I shouldn't talk college football because it can be divisive.
Oh, okay.
Not even, my question would be like, not even when it's not football season? And Cook would say, it's always football season.
I don't think we've reached a level of wokeness to where we can't talk trash about college football.
We all have some work to do on our wokeness. I won't disagree. It changes every day. I've got a 16-year-old daughter that constantly is trying to woke me up, and it works. I'm listening. I want to change.
Put you on the spot here because I can't figure this one out. What does no cap mean?
It means no lie.
No cap is no lie.
Yeah, it means no lie. See, I also have a 13-year-old boy. You, on the other hand, have a 10-year-old boy. He hasn't gotten to the no cap territory yet.
We got caps flying all over with my 19 and 17-year-old. Crazy.
Yep.
Capping all over the place.
A lot of capping.
A lot of capping.
I like it. I'm up to date with the lingo, just so you guys know. Man, I'm about to blow y'all away. You ready? We busted a record out of the park. I'm about to show you what it is. Top producers. Congratulations, Alicia Bergfeld, Christopher Ripple, Glenn Groff, Karen Earhart, Wesley, and Natalie Prescott. Top producer, $25K in a month, I believe. Team leaders, Glenn Groff, Dedrick Robinson, Billy Walker, Alicia Swan, Aaron Avedon. This is from May's numbers, obviously. Key leaders, a whole bunch of you. Richard Helm, Barbara Anson, David Hadley, Paul Bine. Pretty sure I got that one right. Paige Jensen, Nicholas Schlimper, Liliana Goebel, Kelly Rogers, Julie Mai, Jeffrey Miller, Gabriella Smith, Christopher Smith, and Alan Smith. It's not Smiths. Wonder if they're all together. This seems like something we should investigate. Should we just start recruiting more Smiths? Brian, you're the one that's been putting the data together on what the phenotypes look like, right?
No.
Maybe it's as easy as a last name. You got Matt, Brad Smith. That worked out exceptionally well.
True.
I don't know. Might be onto something here, guys. All right, you ready for the record breaker of all record breakers? 12. 12.
It's amazing.
Agency owners, 12. We got so many agency owners, we don't even have pictures for all of them. That's crazy. Wesley and Natalie Prescott, Thomas Lotz, Ryan Gaska, Robert Skinner, Mark Hamelman, Leanna Mason, Kevin Schmidt, Kevin Farrell, Jordan Howell, Jamie Saucy, David Whiteman, and Christy Miller. Congratulations, guys. That is blowing a record out of the water. We were just talking Palmer and I were this morning to a potential capital partner saying we're averaging about 1 a week. Not last month, we averaged 3 a week. So congratulations to all you AOs. Now the fun begins. This is not the time to take your foot off the pedal, although I will say take a minute, congratulate, celebrate all the hard work that you put in to get to this point, and just know that it's just now getting started. But man, oh man, it's about to get fun from here. If you keep the pedal down, it's going to get fun from here. Focus on your recruiting, focus on your personal production, hire someone else to do the rest, do your huddles, and you'll continue to grow. Congratulations, everybody. That's awesome. That means that we got 5 new agency directors: Sturm, Reinecke, Elmer, Mr. Stubbs, and Lori S. Benson. Good job, guys. Melissa Weigel, now newly minted Rad. John Ziller, the MVP. Darren Stubbs, the executive vice president. New associate partner, Mr. Kashawn Monteith. Christopher Clark got him a promotion. So promotions were going around all over the place, guys. Well done. Here's what we got coming up, and you guys can check the HQ for all of this as well. Tomorrow, Chief Leadership and Development Officer, that's you, Mr. Brian Williamson. Resolve, release, or retain a conflict resolution strategy to liberate your business. Love it. Also tomorrow, the Ultimate FE training with the FE guru, Mr. Gary Keith. Friday, your Todd Talk with COO Doug Zay, lifting the veil behind the scenes, projects for massive agent business growth. I like that. Gonna let people see what's going on back there. Monday, we've got Ryan Miller. In case you missed the last one, you don't want to miss a chance to see Ryan. Any chance you get, go do it. And then every Tuesday, next Tuesday is DFL, although I don't know that we will be having that one next Tuesday because we've got Costa Rica, right? We'll verify. Hang with us. Mr. Williamson.
That's me.
Over to you, sir. Really excited with the hire that we've made now 60 days ago is my guess. I'm terrible with time these days. Could have been 90 days.
Yeah, I stopped counting after Fletcher just roasted me in a meeting for counting days. But I was trying to be, hey, I'm on day 63 or something. He's like, stop thinking you're new. But no, it's in the 70s-ish. And one of the things up my sleeve has been the development of this coaching system behind the scenes to really serve our leaders and agents. And today I'm going to spend a bit more time with y'all instead of the tool of the week, unpacking what this is, what's the vision for it, what's the strategy, and nuts and bolts. What does it look like? Why is it important? So,
Ryan, do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, let me go ahead and do that. And it won't be quite as fancy schmancy, but I'm going to do it this way.
Okay.
All right. So the key thing you want to take away from today, if you want to pursue this, is coaching@quility.com. We've got Misty Foster, who is an incredible, just great servant leader behind the scenes. She's going to be working as our coaching coordinator. You will be able to get in touch with her and get onboarded, and I'll talk to you a little bit more at the end of our time here on what that looks like. So let me talk to you about coaching for a minute. What if you could be more focused, be happier, be more engaged, and work less? And as a result, you would have more impact, you'd see greater business results, and you'd deal with less drama and gossip. That's not a philosophical, that's actually a reality. The Coaching Habit book unpacks how coaching actually does these things. Coaching, like true good coaching, what true good coaching does is it creates ownership. Directive leadership creates compliance. Coaching creates ownership. If we just simply tell people what to do, they'll do it. And by the way, sometimes that's absolutely the right thing to do. Right? When someone doesn't know what to do, some of you are brand new on the call and you're sitting there saying, man, I just want my upline, my mentor to tell me what to do because I want to accelerate my results in the business. I want good direction. You're actually asking for the right thing. You need good direction. But there's times when we need that guide by the side, not just the sage from the stage telling you what to do, but the guide by the side helping you get there. And of course, the primary place that comes is through your upline, through your leader, your agency owner, whoever you're working with. That's the primary place. But there's times where you as an individual know that you want some extra support and challenge and some expertise along the side. And that's what coachingatquility.com is about. That's the coaching initiative. The vision for this is to provide you with a qualified coach accessible to every agent desiring coaching. And what a qualified coach is, it's someone right now that I've personally hand selected, and we have an all-star group of coaches on a range of exceptional to exceptional. These are people that, if you know our influence model, high character, high competence, high chemistry, high credibility. And not only that, but they're going to be trained in our business, right? So I'm spending time with them. I've developed, first of all, behind the scenes, an MVP training course for them to go through, so that when you request a coach that's qualified at the center, you're getting somebody who's not going to have to get caught up to speed on what's a level of leadership, what's a lead, how does this system work? Hey, we're in a 1099 kind of volunteer army structure, if you will. What does that mean? They're going to be trained specifically by me. They're going to be supported by me, and they're going to understand the basics of our business. Over time, that will only increase. But they're bringing their own expertise, and I'm helping to upskill that so that when you ask for a coach, it's somebody that you can trust. So the strategy's been for me to create a centralized coaching team of professional, experienced, and these qualified coaches and consultants who were then going to be able to pair with agents based on their leadership and business needs. So when it comes time, and maybe sometimes your leader will actually recommend that you pursue a coach. What would you do? You just email coachingatquility.com, and Misty will send you an onboarding survey to understand what your business needs are. We're actually going to send a survey to the upline mentor, so that person can give us a bigger picture and an understanding of what they see in you. How have they worked with you best? What are some challenges? What are some growth areas? So we're going to do a really thorough job at understanding what your pain points are, understanding what you want to work on, and pairing you with the best coach possible. Now, let me get into a couple nuts and bolts about coaching. What is coaching versus other things, right? So if you think about therapy and coaching and mentoring, what therapists do is therapists help you resolve past hurts, habits, and hangups that have you stuck. Coaches help you process your present challenges and opportunities, whereas a mentor opens doors for future opportunities, okay? Therapists deal with the past hurts, coaches deal with the present challenges and opportunities, mentors open doors for your future. So we are looking at coaching, right? In fact, we call it consultative coaching. We're not just looking to put people in front of you who are just going to ask questions only and just try to help you come to conclusions yourself. These are people who are going to be trained in the Thrive tools. We've got some coaches right now. We've got a professional EOS implementer that's doing a fair amount of coaching inside our organization. So we're going to be identifying unique expertise, but also people that understand a lot of the visual tools and the systems that we've been working with to do that middle thing, right? They're not there to help be a therapist for you. And there's times maybe when that's a good thing for you to pursue. They're not there just to mentor you and kind of open doors for your future. They're there to help you process your present challenges and opportunities. Why would you want to do coaching? I won't go through all the details here, but what is the return on investment for coaching? And you can glance at the middle things. I'm just going to highlight the first and the last, okay? On average, based on research, every dollar you spend in coaching, there's about a $4 to $8 return on investment, right? 4x to 8x. So that's just a good rule of thumb. Of course, all these things, productivity, and again, you can look at that. You can expect that you're going to be able to develop in those areas. But from all of the coaching that we've done inside this organization, we have Symmetry examples of people who would say it was profound in their personal breakthrough, in growing in their confidence, their ability to cast a vision, their ability to develop leadership skills, and even business growth, that they would say that coaching was a significant part of this, ranging from 45% all the way to 300%, right? So we actually have those stories of people who'd say, man, coaching was a big part. It wasn't the only part, but it was a big part of what that looks like. So if you're thinking about coaching, if you're thinking about investing in a coach for yourself and you want to pursue that, I want to give you 3 questions that you must answer for coaching to give you an ROI. And this should be really like, if you're going to email coachingatquility.com, you shouldn't do it casually. just to check out the scenes and, find out what's available. You should do it because you've thought about these three things. Number one, you've got to answer, what do I want from coaching? And by the way, all the leaders that are listening, these are three good questions for you to take a screenshot of or write down on a piece of paper right now. That if an agent comes to you and says, hey, I'd love to spend some time with you, I need more coaching, you should walk them through these three questions as well, right? So number one, what do they want? What are the outcomes, right? What are the outcomes that they're after? That is the number one thing that's going to set up a successful coaching relationship. Number two, am I willing to receive feedback? You've got to be open to the flashlight shining the spotlight on your blind spots and growth areas. And I will just tell you that 100% of the people that I've coached in this organization are a huge yes to that question. We have the most incredible, hungry, humble, smart people that even are craving it. I've had people just like beat me up like a piñata, like bring me more challenge, bring me more blind spots. You want that so bad. So if you don't want that, if you don't want the flashlight shining the spotlight on your blind spots and growth areas, please don't email coaching@quility.com. And number three, am I willing to put in the hard work to think and lead differently, right? Grit is not optional, and a coach should accelerate you, right? A coach should help you have actionables from the time that you've spent with them. One of my past executive coaches is a qualified coach, incredible, and there's like no escaping. His name's Alan Spees. No escaping. He's like the Eye of Sauron in the Lord of the Rings, man. He'll just come after you until he gets to the heart of the issue, and you're going to have some work to do. You're going to have to do some unpacking on the back end of that, okay? So as far as the process of this, again, this all starts off as you email that email address. But first of all, we're going to prepare you, right? We're going to ask some questions in a coaching intake. As well, we're going to send one to your upline just to get a bigger picture, just in general, of what they see that could be helpful for a coach to know about you. We're going to want to know, what do you want to work on? When do you want to start coaching? We're going to go to work to pair you up with a coach, with one of our qualified coaches that we believe are going to serve you best towards your desired outcomes. I'm actually waiting. We're not 100% sure it's going to work out, but I'm waiting on a bid back from a platform that might do this through artificial intelligence, actually match the coach with the coachee based on an algorithm. So we'll see if we get there in the next 12 months, but that's kind of right now something manually that we'll be able to do, just pair you with the best person possible, and then we'll get you launched. It's a very, very simple process, actually. Very, very simple to get you started and rocking and rolling. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on this last slide, but the exciting part of this is that, there's been some standard Symmetry coaching pricing that we've had inside this organization. And just through the way we've been able to work things, we are actually dropping those prices and giving you, even honestly, coaches that are going to rock your world. And so the price point's going down, but the quality of coach and the experience that you're going to have in coaching is going up. So these are some price points that we've got I'll just highlight one-to-one coaching as an example. We've dropped that from $500 to $375 for up to the 105 contract, and $750 to $625 for 105 and above. And right now, just so you're aware, I'm going to stop the share on that. It's public information. We're happy to get it to you. We are even working on a very early level coaching option for people who are just coming in, and it's a 4-month systematic process that it's going to be much lower on the price point, about $149 per person. So that's going to be something that happens in a group coaching, but very immersive, very experiential. But one of our coaches is excellent. They've just developed a whole system that takes you through all of the core tools around 5 voices, 5 gears, and all the kind of things that you're going to want to know to really lead yourself well, and then to be more productive as well. So we are really, really excited about this. The simple takeaway for you again today, coaching@quility.com if you're interested in coaching. And remember, I want to support and call up all of our excellent leaders and coaches that are already on this call, meaning our agency owners, key leaders, others that are doing this. We are not trying to replace what you're doing. If you have agents that never need to use a coach from coaching@quility.com, that's great. I mean, this is a pull strategy, not a push strategy. We're not trying to hit a certain quota. This is not like a revenue line for Quility. We're paying the coaches and taking a tiny bit of overhead cost just to cover, not a revenue line. not something we're trying to push out. It's a service to you that we believe is going to actually add great value. So excited about it, thankful for the opportunity. And go ahead, and if you have any questions, guess what? Email coaching@quility.com, and Misty will be right on it to help you get ready. So thanks.
Well done, B-Dub. Well
Thank
done.
you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Most people that show up don't have a ton of experience, leading, being a manager, growing themselves, right? So as we've said for the past 12 years, going on 12 years, we are a leadership development company. That is what we do. All of us need work. The top leaders in the company continue to get work. It's not like something that you start and then, ever kind of grow out of. Doesn't mean that you have to necessarily pay forever. Maybe it looks differently kind of moving forward, but I honestly, Brian, think it's one of the most important investments that you can make. It's a significant investment from Quility, which is what's allowing for the discounted prices. So take advantage of it, guys. And like you said, Brian, or don't.
Right.
We're not telling you that you have to. We're telling you that you probably should, like most of the AOs already are.
Yeah.
But it's something that you have to do.
Yeah. I think one thing along that line is that this is a really unique thing that we're doing as Quility. I've been a professional coach and consultant really now for the last probably 15 years, part-time and then full-time for the last 9, and prior to Quility. And so what usually happens is an organization will just start plucking random coaches and consultants from wherever. No one really teaches them the business, gives them the background, the dynamics of how do things work, and you end up with all these little tiny scattered little initiatives. So by doing this, we're doing something really unique by actually, first of all, having coaches that are excited to be a part of this and serve this hungry, humble, smart group of leaders, but also to have people that are like one email away from knowing you're going to get a quality vetted person. So I'm, again, just for us as an organization to have this initiative, it's really exciting. So
good stuff, buddy. Looking forward to all the great results that are going to come out of it. Appreciate you. All right, Mr. Jordan Hunt, we will let you open up first. Really, the whole crew can open up if you want to. What did we say that is? Unveil? I think that's what we decided. Everyone can unveil and mute. You have an amazing background there. We were talking about it earlier with the statues, the trophies. It's hard not to know just how serious you are, man. How much business you mean with that kind of background, Jordan. You used to be in car sales.
Mm-hmm.
You used to be a baseball player, collegiate baseball player, a catcher.
Yes.
You got a son that is also a catcher. Might see him in the big leagues one day.
That's what he's working on. That's what he's working on.
Be pretty exciting, man. What was the hardest part about baseball and your transition from leaving something that you loved and probably for a decade or more thought that you would be able to do to make a living, I'm assuming. Mm-hmm. What was the hardest part of that?
Man, so you got the opportunity to play some college baseball there, some minor league baseball beyond that. And then it's just, when had an injury, right, hung up the spikes. I was 22 at the time, had no idea which way to go. Was offered a job at Car Lot, which is actually where several of the other guys on this call came out of there too. The most difficult thing about that time was just not having no clue where I was going to go, where it was going to take me, Brandon. But just thankful, man, that I got the call from Brian Delaney whenever I did, because things always make sense whenever we look back on them, right? That's what gives me clarity and know that, man, like all those things happen for a reason.
Yeah. How did Brian find you?
Wow. Brian found me a gentleman that I knew, a friend of mine. I heard about SFG, and he was just telling me about the company, Brandon. He was like, Jordan, man, you gotta give these guys a call, man. You got to talk to this guy, Brian Delaney. That happened literally for about 3 to 4 months. And finally, I just had enough of what I was doing, where I was. I have a phone call with Brian Delaney, and jump right in, got to a conference. That's the importance of conference. Brian got me to a conference, and inside of a week having a conversation with him, me, Gino, and Aaron came on board there. And the gentleman that told me about the opportunity is no longer here, but that's how that happened.
I was wondering, was he your upline initially?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man, from $180,000 the next month to $289,000 is what your organization did, Jordan. Do you still see this man? Do you still see this gentleman? Do y'all have a relationship? Do you ever run into him?
I do. I mean, I don't, I actually, he'll text me maybe once every couple months, not very often at all.
Yeah.
And I think there's definitely some disappointment on his part, but
you think? I bet there is.
Gotta be tough, man.
Oh man, we used to talk about this a lot more. This is why you never quit. You never leave a recruit. If you're overriding one person, don't ever quit. There's example after example after example in the organization of somebody that would have had an upline making, 5 points, or maybe even people at the top contract, they'd be making 3 or 4 points plus an equity bonus. So that's just part of it. Really excited to have you guys on. You've got Gino Locklear with you. Just listen to these kind of transitional numbers here: 76,000 to 95,000 for Gino, 28,000 for Aaron McLean, 28,000 to 63,000. These are all jumps in a month. Devin Johnson, 61,000 to $112,932. And then Luke Jackson, who I think we had you mislabeled earlier, and I'd like to apologize for that. We had the wrong Jackson up there. Did you see that? Sorry about that, Luke. It won't happen again. I wish I could promise that it won't happen again, but I will do my best. 107,000 to 123,000. Look, you're key leader. That's crazy. That is crazy. All right. So I want to know how all this happened, Jordan. I'm going to shut up because you guys have a great lineup. I'm going to be kind of monitoring the chat. I just want to let all of you guys know how much we appreciate all the hard work you're doing, kind of paving the way, and have been paving the way for a while, but certainly, with the virtual sales piece, with the transitions that all of us went through with COVID. Gino, I've had so many conversations with you that have just blown me away. Haven't had an opportunity to hang out with the rest of the guys as much, but I'm looking forward to it because you just got, Jordan, you got a stable of people that they do it the right way. They do it consistently. They get the results that people are looking for. And we never hear any problems over here, right? You guys handle your business the right way. So a great model for the rest of the organization with what you're building and what all of you individually are building. And on behalf of all of us, guys, we really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to the nuggets that are going to be dropped, especially on the virtual sales piece, because, Gino, like you said to me, man, completely life-changing. How far were you going when you were in the field? Like, what was the farthest away, Gino or Jordan, either of you, that you were having to travel when you were selling in the field?
Gino Locklear, direct to Jordan Hunt. It was easily anywhere between 2 and 4 hours, distance.
Yeah. So you were driving 2 to 4 hours one way. You were seeing, you were having success. You were a great producer. Then did you have the problems that other people had with the transition? Meaning, when you made that switch to virtual, was it hard for you to get people to show up at first? Was it hard for you to be able to close those deals? I'm sure you had to go through some type of struggle in transition.
Yeah, there was a little bit of struggle there in the beginning. Between Brian and Aaron, we kind of tackled the whole virtual sales in the beginning of 2020, and there was a little bit of struggle there.
Nice. Aaron, you were the same way? And all of you guys are mostly virtual now, correct?
I think most of us are 100% virtual. I've been virtual. I have yet seen a client in person since 2020.
It's got to be life-changing, man.
Yeah.
To be able to do this as well as you've done it and now grow to do it even better than you were doing it. Like, you have so much more of your time back, of your life back, to do the things that you want to do. I want to hear from each of you guys, and then I'm gonna turn it over to you. To those out there that are struggling to make the transition, they know it makes sense in their mind, but they're they don't want to rip the Band-Aid off. How can they get to that point? And Gino, we can start with you, but I want to hear Devin from you, Aaron, who all I got on my screen. Luke, I want to hear from you. I want to hear from all of you guys. Like, what's some advice on how they can make that transition?
Brandon, I'll be honest with you. I remember the day that I got the phone call from Brian, when I was headed to another client's house, and Brian gave me a phone call. And, when Brian Delaney gives you a call, you drop whatever you're doing, you pick it up. And, I never forget it. He said, "Hey, I need you to do me a favor." And I was like, "Yeah, let's hear it." He's like, "I need you to cancel all your appointments that you have for the rest of the week, and I need you to reschedule them for virtual." And I was like, what is a virtual appointment, right? And I remember calling Jordan right after that phone call. I was like, "Brian wants me to do this, and people's not going to give their social over the phone. People's not going to give me their routing account number phone. This is going to be a disaster. Like, this isn't going to work." That was my mindset. Well, I canceled all my appointments. I rebooked them for virtual. I don't even know what virtual was back then. Thank God that my grandmother's a teacher, and she was using Zoom for some of her students, mothers and fathers. So I was doing a lot over the phone and also used Zoom back then. But we finished out that week with about $3,000 in annualized premium. So that was fun. But the answer to your question, people ripping off the Band-Aid, being able to make that transition. My thoughts, once I, dove into it, my thoughts were, when we first started here, did we ever go to a client's house and run an appointment? No, we've never done that before. When COVID hit and we've done that transition to virtual, has anybody ever ran a virtual appointment before? No. What's the difference? Right? There is no difference. It's new. Just because it's new doesn't mean it's bad. And quite honestly, it's actually made it a whole lot more convenient for the clients and the agent. So treat it as if this was your first day going to go see a client in person.
Gino, didn't you ask people too? I think it was you. It may have been someone else I was talking to, but you got into a habit of asking the clients, like, once it was over and the policy was done, is like, knowing what you know now, would you have rather done it this way or rather someone have come out to you? Was that you that asked that question?
Yes. Yeah.
And
so
what percentage? What percentage?
All of them.
100% said they would rather have handled it the way you handled it.
Yes, all of them.
All right. Good stuff. Aaron, I'll hear from you, man. What advice do you have for people to make the jump? Because this is the future. It's coming. Like it or not, it's coming.
It definitely is, Brandon. And once again, man, just kind of reiterate what those guys said. Thank you for allowing us to be up here and take some of these guys' time today. But my name is Aaron McLean, the director, Jordan Hunt there. I'll tell you where I was at. I shared the same sentiment that Gino did when we transitioned into virtual. And I was like, there's absolutely no way in this world that some 80-year-old grandma in Fairmont, North Carolina is going to give me a social security number over a computer screen. Absolutely not. I was the biggest skeptic when it came to virtual sales, and I was just fighting it like the plague. And what I seen, the thing that helped me make the transition was I seen that my guys were kind of taking it the same way because they seen me doing that, and they were struggling just like I had started to struggle. And I was like, well, they've got to see an example that this thing actually works. So I mean, Symmetry's never led me wrong before. Cicely, I know Cicely and that advisory board had done an amazing job of putting that slideshow and everything together. So I was like, all right, let's just go do it and just see what happens, and just jumped out, and whenever you go learn how to swim, it doesn't do you any good to get your feet wet. You might as well just jump in. That's the way you learn how to swim. So that's what I did, and I just wanted to set an example for my guys. And obviously, I was able to match my best month in the field. I did that as well, virtual, like the very first month that we went virtual. So it was just something that I wanted to make sure that my guys had an example to follow.
I love it, man. Good stuff. Devin?
Thank you, Brandon. I'm a big freedoms guy. That's what kept me here, really, at Symmetry, what attracted me the most. And it's the freedoms that you get. You save a lot of windshield time. We're traveling 2-3 hours, to go see these clients. And we worked. This team right here, we all worked. And I'll put it to you like this: if you try to have freedom in the beginning in this business, you'll never truly get it. I did the work in the beginning to get some freedom, and I mean, plain as day, Brandon. 7 a.m. yesterday, me and my key leader Luke Jackson, walked to 9 holes of golf on a Tuesday morning yesterday. And I wrote $3,500, yesterday evening virtual. I mean, I don't think it gets any better than that. That's a good life. I would have never done that on a Tuesday in my dreams, when we were in the field.
Yep. That's such a good point, man. All right. We're going to hear more from you. Luke.
Hey, Brandon. Luke Jackson, direct to the Devin Johnson, literally my best friend. But I do want to thank you guys, Brandon, Brian, and Casey, for everything y'all have done. Just the opportunity to speak. I'm super excited. This is one of my goals that I've had since I came on board. But as far as going virtual, my first month was terrible. I mean, I was a consistent 15, 20, occasional 25K rider right before that. And then March hit, and April was, I think it was like 9K or something like that, Dev. I mean, a couple of lucky strokes. And I just said, well, you know what? I'm not sitting with a whole lot of folks, so let me just book more. And just decided to, lean into the second cornerstone, book more, and then get around the people that are successful. If Gino's writing, 350,000 feels like a week, I'm gonna get around him. So I just tried to associate with him as much as I could, and learn from him, sit in some of his appointments, and just figure it out as quick as I could.
That's awesome, man. Well, I can't wait to hear some nuts and bolts here, Jordan. I'll turn it over to you, and I'll just reiterate again, man. Really appreciate all you guys. I was texting with Delaney earlier, and he said it was the first call he made. He left the advisor board meeting. We were at Casey's barn. We all, as a team, huddled up and said, "Looks like it's coming. Can't say for sure, but we better be ready because it looks like it's coming." And you guys were a big part of that transition. You took the call, you took the action, you took the challenge, and you skint your knees up a little bit, you got back up, you figured it out. Now it's better than it's ever been. So the entire company owes you a big debt of gratitude for all that hard work and sacrifice. I'll shut up, Jordan. I want to hear all about it, man. Appreciate you guys for being on.
Thanks so much for that, Brandon. Once again, guys, I'm Jordan Hunt. I am direct to Brian Delaney, and I'm just absolutely filled with gratitude today, man. Just honored to be here. Honored for all those that came before us, right, in this business, and plowed the fields that we get to work on now. If you by chance got on this call and you were looking for a golden nugget or a way to make this business easy, we give you permission to leave, because that's not possible. There's no way to make it easy, but we will give you a bunch of reasons why it's worth it. Okay, we didn't come to entertain you. We didn't come to give a golden nugget. We did not come to create an emotional stir. What we came to do was to provoke thought, create action, and to cause us to kill what's comfortable. And that's what we will do today, right? And I can't think of anybody else that's a better example of what's possible in this business than you, Gino. You stole my thunder a little bit, sharing the story about what Brian asked you to do, just going out there having no idea what a virtual system was. I remember you asked him, like, hey, how do I even do a virtual sale? How do we do that? And he was like, I don't know, figure it out. And he did. So with that, Gino, I want to give you the opportunity to speak first here. Just talk about that, the virtual scale, the virtual sales. Talk about the scheduling, Gino, and then as well as the consistency behind that that's causing you to get the results that you're getting, brother.
Yeah, appreciate that, Jordan. And again, Gino Locklear, direct to Jordan Hunt, and just, eternally grateful to be so, just like Devin said, well, he didn't say, but he said it without saying, life is a whole lot different these days. We went from playing golf, once a weekend to playing golf 3 to 4 times during the week. So, I appreciate everything that Brandon, Casey, and Brian has done for us within the company and all the leadership that's got us to where we are today. So eternally grateful. So yeah, let's get a little bit into virtual sales, Jordan, and you kind of want to talk about schedule and the consistency and everything. And, I think, I say this a lot to our group and within, huddle up calls is, in order to have a successful week, Jordan, you got to prepare to have a successful week, and everything ties down back to having resources, and for the longest time, our resources were our lead programs, and it is a lead program. But thank God to our advisory board for putting some different things in place with our company. Quility U is a huge resource that we need to start utilizing, especially if you're a brand new agent or even an existing agent. Going through phases 3 and phases 4 is just going to help you that much more when it comes to these virtual sales. And then, whether it's virtual sales or telesales or in person, but here for today, we're going to be talking about telesales and virtual sales. But making sure that you have your resources, our leads, get with your mentor. They can get you a good lead order. They show you what that looks like. But just have your resources. Without resources, you can't have appointments. Without appointments, you can't have a client. Without clients, you can't have APV. Without APV, you can't have commissions. So it all starts back to having resources. And as far as scheduling, pre-COVID-19, we were typically getting our leads on Wednesday and Thursday, and making our dials on Friday and Saturday, and running our appointments on Monday and Tuesday. That was the system. That's what we were doing, and it worked. But what we know is that things started to change, and we were either wise going to stay where we were, and hope that everything dies down, or we was just going to step up to the plate and adapt like we did as a company, and continue to innovate with this thing here. So nowadays, when it comes to virtual sales, you don't have to book your appointments on Friday and Saturday and run them on Monday and Tuesday, although that still works. And a lot of people are doing that. But what we're starting to see as far as a high show ratio and a higher close ratio is being able to book inside of that 24 hours, if not same day appointment. Just to give you an example, especially with our same day lead allocations that we're seeing these days, I had a lead that came in on a Tuesday, got the lead, called the lead that very moment, as soon as it came in. I mean, it was fresh off the press, how Brandon says it. Called the lead and booked the appointment for the next day, Wednesday. Wrote the application, husband and wife, wrote the application for $136 a month. Where else can you do that? You talk about closing your sales cycle inside of a same day or next day, and then getting paid within 24 to 48 hours from doing that. So whenever you're talking about scheduling, Jordan, we need to make sure it goes back to what I said earlier, preparing to have a successful week, making sure that exactly where you're going to be at all times throughout the week, because you never want to be in a position where somebody calls you and they have no idea where you're going to be at during the week. More or less, you don't even know where you're going to be at during the week. I know exactly where I'm going to be at every single day of the week, what I'm going to be doing on those days, and what I'm going to be getting out of those days. For me personally, if I'm not dialing on a Friday and Saturday and booking my appointments on Friday and Saturdays, I'm dialing on Monday and Tuesdays and booking my appointments on Monday and Tuesdays. For example, this week here, today is Wednesday, which is absolutely insane. Me and Devin was talking about this earlier, but I started making dials on this Monday at 10 a.m., booked my appointments for Monday and Tuesday, and already finished out the week with 5,500 APV. Where else can you go and do that? You look at Hannah Grace, who's running appointments, who's making dials on Friday. She's making dials on Friday morning from 9 to 11, and then making dials from 4 to 7 on Friday, and booking appointments on Saturday and Sunday, and writing anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 a week. You look at Frank Haney, who's booking appointments on Friday and Saturday, running appointments through Saturday and Sunday, averaging anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 a week. He's only been here 6 months. There's just so many different people winning at such a high level. And my question to you is, why not you? Why not you? So scheduling, making sure that you're booking appointments inside of, the same day or the next 24 hours. It's going to give you a whole lot more close ratio and a higher show ratio. Making sure that whenever you are making dials, especially on Friday and Saturdays, you're plugging into the dial teams. Why would you not take advantage of that, Jordan? Like, why would people not take advantage of sitting and listening to top and elite producers that are showing them how to get exactly what they want out of this business? And in order to have a successful week, again, guys, you have to prepare to have a successful week. And it starts with on the phones. That's 80% of your job right there is on the phones. It's just booking appointments and just being consistent with it. Right now as an agency, we're reading the book, The Compound Effect, and that's what they're talking about. Consistency, persistency is the new currency today. Just have to keep doing it. Now, Jordan, did you want me to go into anything else outside of just the, the resources and the consistency? Did you want me to go into everything else, or are you going to prompt the questions?
No, go ahead. You can go ahead and run straight into that.
Oh, perfect. All right. So this is where we're about to get into good stuff, guys. So, what I want, who I'm talking to right now is the people who have not become a 5K week producer yet. Okay. These are the people that I want to be talking to right now, the people that has not got to the level where you're consistently writing $5,000 a week in production. All right. And it starts with the basics, starts with the 4 keys of success. The 4 keys to have a successful week. That's what it starts with, guys. So again, make sure you have your resources, make sure you have your schedule put in place, make sure you're doing the activity. What that looks like, guys, is doing a minimum of 250 to 300 hours. If you have not committed to doing that yet, there's a problem, right? So we need to make sure that we're committing to doing 250 to 300 dials. If you're full-time here, there's no reason you should not be booking no less than 15 appointments a week. See, what I know is that if you work with the numbers is going to work for you. But if you work against the numbers, they're going to beat you every single time. So why not work with them? So what that looks like, guys, is, following the script that Symmetry has provided. What that also looks like is having the presentation that Aaron was just talking about that was provided from the leadership that we have here in Symmetry, making sure you're using that on your virtual sales. And just going through, all the training that we have that is on Quality U, which is going to be phases 1 through 5, especially phases 3 and 4, which is going to show you how to get that much better on the phones and throughout the appointment. Okay. So that's where you guys want to start off at. If you're not writing $5,000 a week in production, let's go there, because you want to learn the basics, guys. Now let's transition to how to go from writing $5,000 a week to $10,000 a week. That's what we're going to do. So this is going to be a little bit more advanced stuff, guys. And it's not really advanced of, pretty much everything outside of what we're doing. It's just getting advanced at the basics that we already have access to. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to talk a little bit about booking quality appointments. So you can have people so you can have people show up to your appointments, so you can have a higher show ratio. Currently, right now, I probably have anywhere between 85 and 90% show ratio on any given week. And I would probably lean to say that that's going to be around the same thing on my close ratio. Just going to be honest with you. So let's first talk about, booking a quality appointment. What that looks like is obviously you starting the conversation just like the script says, but there's one thing that I always add to what I say inside that. So let's, Aaron, I don't know if you wouldn't mind just kind of unmuting yourself and kind of role playing with me real quick on booking this appointment and tying it down, but that'd be perfect, man. So, after I say who I am and I tell you why I'm calling Aaron, I'm just going to kind of go into it. So, Aaron McLean.
Yes, sir.
Hey, this is Gino Locklear. I was just getting back to you in regards to your mortgage for the $150,000 over on 123 ABC Street.
Yeah. What about it?
Yep, it's in regards to the mortgage protection coverage that you have filled out, sent back into us. You remember doing that?
Yes, I believe so.
Yep. Just wanted to make sure the information that you provided was correct. That way we can go ahead and get those options out to you between today and tomorrow. That's all.
Okay.
That's it, guys. So I always let them know that that's the only reason that I'm calling. I'm not here to try to sell them over the phone. I'm not trying to, explain anything over the phone. My job is to solely verify the information and let them know that I'm going to be getting their options out to them between today and tomorrow. That's all. It takes all of the pressure off of the conversation. So now we're going to go towards, tying down the appointment, Aaron, and making sure that we book that pretty heavily. So Aaron, it looks like I have everything here on my end. If I run into any further questions, is this the best number to reach you back at?
Yes.
Okay. And guys, I want y'all to count how many times we say the appointment time and the appointment day. This is crucial. So Aaron, like I said, they got me scheduled to get these appointments out to you between today and tomorrow. Now, typically I would usually deliver these options out to you in person and go over it with you. due to everything going on, we're going to be handling this over a virtual side of things. Have you ever done a virtual Zoom call?
Yes.
Awesome. What's that best email address?
abc123@gmail.
Perfect. And would you prefer me to try to get these back out to you tomorrow or sometime today?
Probably today would be better.
Okay. Now, do you prefer something before 5 or after 5?
Probably after 5.
After 5? Okay. So right now I'm looking at my calendar. It looks like I have a 5:30 and a 7:15 spot available. Which one of those work better for you?
Most likely at 7:15.
7:15. And guys, I got away from doing on the hour appointments where you're just saying 6, 7, and 8, because that in the client's mind, they're saying, okay, that's around time. What am I doing around that time? So I got very specific with my time frames where I'm making them think about even outside of the hours down to the minutes. Okay, what am I doing at 7:15 this evening? What am I doing at 6:30 this evening? So I'm always adding in those extra minutes inside of the time. So Aaron, that 7:15 is going to work good for you?
Yes.
Not going to be catching you and the wife during dinner, am I?
No. We should be done with that by then.
Okay, perfect. You have a pen and paper by your side by chance?
I sure do.
Could you write that down for me? Could you just write, tonight for 7:15?
Okay.
Perfect. And you did say if I had any further questions, I could just give you a call back, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to go ahead and start working on this. If I run into any problems, I'm going to give you a call back. If not, I have everything ready for you this evening. What time did we say again this evening?
7:15.
Okay. All right. And were you able to write that down for me?
Yes.
That was 7:15 for this evening, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and start working on this. Like I said, I'll give you a call if I have any questions. If not, we'll go ahead and run into this thing this evening at 7:15. You have any questions for me before I start working on this?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, I'll see you this evening at 7:15.
All right. See you then.
So that is my goal. My goal is to get the client to say at least the time and day for our appointment, at least twice, and me saying it 3 times. And here's the thing. I don't send out any Calendly links. I don't send out any emails. We're booking appointments with adults. Okay. So if we book in a time, that's what time we're going to show up to it. Brandon, looks like you about to.
Yeah. How many of them go just like that? Maybe not just like that, but that smooth.
All of
them. Are you serious? Like Devin, Aaron?
They can verify. Yeah.
So why? What did you have to change to make them all go that smoothly? Because some people are out there probably going, well, mine don't go that smoothly. Well, yours probably didn't initially.
No, no, that was a lot of trial and error to get me. I mean, Brandon, I'm 3 years in now, man. That's why I said this is the advanced stuff. I'm 3 years in, right? So it took me going through the basics to get me where I am today. It took me 3 years getting to where I am today on the phones. And it's just psychology on the phone. That's all it is. Especially when you're having that first touch on the conversation where you're just saying that's all. It takes all the pressure off the phone call. Yep. It takes all of it off the phone call. And then when you're just, going into the appointment and you let them know, hey, because what I do when I'm booking the appointments, I'm giving them the illusion that they have freedom to pick whatever day and time they want. When in reality, I'm keeping them in a box.
Okay. Now, how often are they not available in the next 24 to 48 hours?
See, that for me, I never get that unless it's a small percentage where, like I had one today. Hey, I'm actually on a flight to head back home. Let's just shoot for Wednesday. Perfect.
Okay. So if that's the case, then you just get it as soon as you can, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't make a big deal out of it. But even then, let's say that they're on a flight and they can't see you for a week. Or several days. Is there a reminder that you would send out then? Would you do another touch base, or would you just kind of let it flow, see if they show, and if they don't, call them back and rebook it?
Well, if it's a case where they're legit out of town and going to be coming out a week later, hey, I'm gonna put you on my schedule to give you a reminder.
Okay.
If you could go ahead and put that on your schedule as well for me, I'll be reaching out to you beginning of the week. Okay. But that's what I'm gonna do after I ask this question. Hey, I would love to do that, but they only have me in your schedule. They only have me in your county. between today and tomorrow.
Okay.
And then if they hit me again on that with that objection, well, I'm just out of town. Okay, well, I'm just going to put you on my schedule for this weekend to give you a follow-up call to get you rebooked for this coming week.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, you're probably about to get into this next, Gino, so just tell me if you are, but a question would be that I'm seeing is, if you're not sending emails out or reminders, how are they getting the Zoom link?
Yeah. And so again, we're booking appointments with adults. So what I'm doing is when I show up to my appointment, like if I had Aaron and his wife this evening at 7:30, as soon as I finish up with my 6 o'clock or whatever, appointment I have before them, I'm just going to give Aaron a call and I'm say, hey, Aaron, hey, just giving you a call in regards to our appointment for this evening at 7:15. I was getting ready to send that email over to you. Want to make sure I had the right email, and I verify the email and I go ahead and send it to them while I'm on the phone. And they're on the phone, pulling it up, hopping on a Zoom call, but still on the phone. And then we get off and then we handle business.
Gotcha.
Or now we'll say this, Brandon, or what I may be doing, what I'm doing, because I do a lot of telesales as well, aside from the Zoom calls, is I'll say, hey, Brandon, I was getting ready to send this link over to you for the Zoom call, but I didn't know if you wanted us to handle it virtually or if you just wanted us to handle it over the phone. What's more convenient for you?
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's your split? What's your percentage?
I probably write about 80% over the phone. Yeah,
You guys
everything
the
that
same
I
way?
oh
Everybody
yeah,
the same way? Devin, Aaron, Luke, are you guys the same way?
everything this week, Brandon. Everything yesterday, because I wrote all my applications yesterday. Everything I wrote yesterday was telesale. It was right over the phone. I just, hey, put me on speaker so your spouse can hear me.
Yeah. Okay. Someone said most calls go to voicemail. Do you find that to be true?
Well, if you're calling somebody with an Apple phone, or that's typically what's happening now. If they don't have that number saved, it's going to go straight to voicemail. Just have to redial it.
Okay. Like how many times?
I mean, I'm dialing people 3 to 4 times, and then I move on.
In a row? Like bam,
In a
bam,
row.
bam, bam.
Bam, bam, bam.
Do you ever text or let them know what it's about? Is there ever any? I mean, some people say they do. Some people say they don't.
I don't normally. I'm just not a big fan of it. I feel like that gives the client a good way to opt out of everything, versus having a conversation with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Last question. How you like my new hat? What do you think?
I love it, man.
Nice. All right. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'll shut up now.
You can't. Okay. So that's tying down the appointment, and that's getting you ready for your actual appointment. And in reality, guys, whether you're booking an appointment or whether you're running an appointment, this is a thing that I would encourage everyone to try to have. Try to have an optimistic and an assumptive mindset. Why? Like, we're dealing with people that sent us their information. We're not cold calling people. We're not trying to get people to do something they don't want, right? So have that mindset of, hey, I'm optimistic because you're the one who sent this in, and this is my job, and my job is to protect you and your family. And I'm assuming that while you sent this in, that we're going to be taking out the application today. Just having an optimistic and an assumptive mindset. So let's get into the actual appointment, guys. If you're not doing this, use the PowerPoint for telesales and virtual sales. Even if you're on the phone with them, still have that thing up so you can stay on script with everything. But before you start any appointment, you need to make sure you start the appointment with why. And what I mean by that is bringing up their lead and letting them see that if you're on a Zoom call, or bringing up the lead while you're on the phone and starting the conversation about that first before you go into that. What that looks like for me is I'm gonna talk to the client when I bring up their lead. I'm gonna say, Aaron, Adriana, before we get started today, I got your file up here. Just wanted to make sure that, all these options that I got prepared for you guys were based upon the right information. And I'm going to go ahead and verify their information again, just like I did on the very first phone call. And now, the reason I do that is because when we're typically booking appointments, we're booking appointments with one of the two spouses. Now that we're with both spouses, it's important to get that information again on the table, because it's going to trap the husband or the wife who set the appointment and gave us the reason why they wanted to put this coverage in place. What does that look like? So after I verify their information, I'm going to ask them a why question. Hey, Aaron, tell me again, I wrote it down, but tell me again, why was this important for you to, put this coverage in place, or who exactly were you looking for this coverage to protect? And they're going to tell me, why is this coverage important for you to put in place? And why was it so important for you to send this back in? And now the husband or the wife is going to tell me this while their spouse is sitting beside them. Now I just put them in a corner of commitment. And now we're going to run the appointment. Now we're going to start with the PowerPoint slide. And now I want to show you, and obviously we're not going to get in the entire appointment because we have training for that. We're just talking about now how to book quality appointments that show up, and how to run a quality appointment to show you how you can go from quotes to application very, very swiftly. So what that looks like is you get into this slide here. So when you get to this slide right here, so after you've already done your financial fire drill, you let them know what type of options are available. This is the slide. And so grateful to have Aaron McLean that kind of helped put this thing together here. But when you're getting to this slide here, guys, this is how it goes, or this is how I go over it. So Aaron, Adriana, before we look at selecting your plans, it's very, very important that we only get the protection that you need, not what you want. I think needs and wants are entirely different. And we just want to make sure that we find a program that fits today. And we also want to make sure that the program that we go with today fits within the budget. Make sure you're using that word today. And if the options are out of budget, I would hope you guys would just let me know. That way we can adjust, because all we're looking for today is just a place to start. Okay. And then, I'm letting them know that I'm putting their options in. Typically while I'm talking, I'm putting their options in here. And after I get their options put up, I'm going to talk back to Aaron and Adriana, and I'm going to say, guys, before we go over these 3 programs here, the only thing that I need you to do for me is 2 things. Is once I break these down for you so you understand what this is going to do for you and your family, I want you to pick out the one that fits your need, and I want you to pick out the one that better fits within the budget. Now, if the one that you like and the one that fits in the budget are 2 entirely different programs, we're going to move some numbers around and adjust to find something that fits. And then we're going to see if we can get you approved for it today. But if the one that you like and the one that fits in the budget are the exact same program, we're going to go ahead and see if we can get you approved for this coverage. And then we're going to go into the options. We're going to go over their options. We're going to let them pick them out. And obviously we're going to start with, hey, out of these 3 options, which one better fits the one that you want to do for the family? And they're probably going to say, well, I like option 1, but I like option 3's price. We're going to stop them right there. We're not talking about price right now. We're just talking about the one that you like, what it does for you and the family. Once we pick that out, then we're going to go over budget. Which one of these 3 better fit within the budget? If there are 2 different programs, we're going to move some numbers around, right? We've been doing this long enough, or you can get with your growing upline, and they can show you how to, adjust some things when you go into, programs. But once we found a program that fits, these are the 3 questions that you need to ask every single time after they pick out a program. Aaron, so it looks like we found a program for you and Adriana. Looks like it's going to fit. Got some questions for you. When is the last time that you applied for any type of insurance that your age and your health is what got you approved? 9 times out of 10, they're going to say it's been a long time ago, or I haven't. Next question I'm going to ask them is, have you ever been declined for insurance? No. Next question I'm going to ask them, most important question, is do you have any reason or belief that you would get a decline for this program today? They're going to say no. Those 3 questions are power questions, but they're also takeaways. I'm taking their ability of having this coverage put in place from their family, and now they're answering these questions with commitment that, hey, I can get approved for this. Yeah, there's no reason. And so once they say no to all 3 of those questions, I'm going to say, okay, well, what I'm going to have you guys do is answer a few health questions for me and a few individual questions, and we're going to go ahead and see if we can get you approved for this coverage today. And I already have the application pulled up, and we start doing the application. That's it. That's all I'm doing. And I've seen such huge results from people just like within our agency, like a Kenny Stoll, like a Frank Haney, a Mitchell Carter, a Willie Hunt, where they can come in here, not have the amount of time that we spent on virtual sales and just, come here and win. You look at Frank Haney again, who's been here for 5 going on 6 months. He has yet to miss a promotion, guys, and he has been 100% virtual since the day he started here with Symmetry. This guy is averaging anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 a month in production virtually, and he's only been here 6 months. So that's everything I got to talk about on the virtual sales, Jordan, as far as, talking about, your resources, your schedule, your dial sessions, and just going over your appointment. That's pretty much everything I had to add.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that, G. Appreciate you, man, and everything you're doing there, man. The one thing that I hear you saying is it's really just about the relentless execution of just basic tasks time and time again. And it's not about necessarily just being better, but just about being willing to be bad longer than most people are willing to be bad. We find, and we all know that 80% of the profits in this business are found in the last 20% of work that people are unwilling to do, right? And you can't activate gifts and agents that aren't active, that aren't doing the activity. That's the main thing. It all boils down to activity, right? 2 guarantees of this business is that people that work without intention will lose, and people that work with intention always find a way to win. And that's what you do week in and week out. Aaron, we're going to go ahead and, transition over to you here, man. Go ahead and tell us what you wanted to talk about. I know that there's a really cool story about you about finding symmetry, losing symmetry, and finding symmetry again. But I just want to pass this call over to you, man. A lot of people know, a lot of people don't. I mean, you've been like best friends since like fifth grade. Aaron transitioned into our school, Devin. He was a kid. He was just sitting by himself. Nobody wanted to talk to him. He was over there looking kind of weird and lonely. And I was like, come on, man, you can sit beside me. So, and I hadn't been able to get rid of him since. But Aaron, man, I want to go ahead and throw this thing over to you, brother, for what you got to share.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. So for the 1.4 thousand people that's on here, do not listen to a word that man just said about how we met. We did meet in the 5th grade. That's about the only thing that's true. I wasn't a weird kid sitting in the corner. No, that might be a little true. I had a friend of mine that transitioned from my old school with me over there, and we were on the seesaws together because we didn't know anybody else. So there might be a little truth to that one, man. So once again, guys, my name is Aaron McLean. I just want to thank, Brandon, Brian, and Casey for allowing us the opportunity to hop on here. I'm direct to Jordan Hunt, like he said. I'm extremely grateful to be so. We've been friends for 21 years now, and during my short time here, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my story. So I'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to be talking to you guys about the systems and the dreaded quitting phase, because as Jordan alluded to there, I've been through that bad boy a few different times. Okay. If you're successful right now and you're getting, everything you're looking for, I just want you to know that you need to stay committed to consistency. All right. If you're getting the results that you're looking for now and you're not consistent right now with the work that you're putting in, you're in for a rude awakening. Right. You never want to get to a point to where you believe you're better than the numbers. They never lie. I came in and I had that notion, because when I first started, I did like 7,500 my first week. I thought it was pretty good. And then shortly after that, obviously I wasn't here anymore. You also don't want to get in the habit of comparing yourself to others, right? Just compare yourself to who you were yesterday and not who someone else is today, right? You can't be someone else. That person's already taken, right? You just have to be yourself. And if you don't like where you're at today, all you have to do is work on becoming 1% better each and every day, just like better than you were yesterday. And if you do that every day, then a year from now, you're going to be 37% better than you were right today. And I know a lot of you probably understand where that came from, Mr. James Clear, right? Atomic Habits. I'm just now going through that book. I've been told to go through that book for the past year and a half, and I just finally started it. But guys, I came here. I got a call from Jordan back in like December, January 2018 time frame there, and came here, like I said, I was fairly successful. I personally don't remember it, but Jordan and Gino said that I rode around 7,500. But shortly after I got here, I quit. And the reason I quit is because I went to go get a higher contract. And I know you guys have heard stories about that before. Maybe you know someone that's done that, or maybe you've heard someone that's talked about that, or maybe you've had that notion go through your head. But I'm here to tell you, I just didn't realize that when I was chasing that I was going to lose all the support that Symmetry offers us here. Most places don't even have a corporate office like we do, and having those people in the background that handles all the things that keeps all that stuff off of our plate during the day. No one has, the systems that Symmetry has taken the time to put into place, especially something like the universal training in the fast track in Quility U that Gino was talking about earlier, that came out June 1st. Every single one of my guys goes through that training now before I answer any questions on anything. I don't care if you've been here 10 minutes or 10 years. You need to go through that training. It is phenomenal. I mean, you've got the owners of the owners of the company are on there with all the other top leaders giving all that training. There's a reason they are on there, because it is absolute gold. And that's the thing, that's the good thing about building here is all you have to do is plug people into the system and allow the system to do the heavy lifting. And you just pick up the small pieces, right? Me personally, I'm not as good as Gino and Devin here and Luke and everything, but I've got 10 new riders for the year, right? What's crazy is 5 of those new riders have came in the last 2 to 3 weeks since that Quility U fast track training has been available. And I give that and all the other systems that Symmetry has in place 100% of the credit. When I did end up leaving there, you hear people talk about how the grass is greener on the other side. I'm here to tell you guys, it's not always greener on the other side. It's greener wherever you water it. And when I left, when I got there, I ended up quitting that as well. I took another job 8 hours away from my wife and 3 children, and that wasn't what I wanted either. I got another call from Jordan, just like I got the first time, man, and that was in July of 2019. So I was away for over a year and a half. And he told me, he said, man, I know when we first started, we didn't know our heads from our butts, but we really got this thing figured out now. If you guys could have seen us in the beginning, one was in a corner on a bucket making dials, another was on a piano stool in another corner, and the other was in a closet. And all this was happening in a little back bedroom of a single wide trailer. We look, if you looked at us, you would have thought that we were crazy. But I'm so glad and so thankful that Jordan and Gino were just crazy enough to stick it out, because if they weren't, then I wouldn't be here today. So, just really, really thankful for that. And, Jordan called me, told me he wanted me to come back, and I eventually did. I came back in September 2009. I hit top producer. I built an agency, became an agency owner extremely fast. And it's something that I hold over these guys' head each and every day. I hit agency owner a month before Jordan, and he was the one that hit it fastest out of all of us. And I talk junk to him all the time about that. But when I hit agency owner, I did something that none of them did. I lost every bit of it. My top producer had walked away. I was so devastated. I was so devastated that I didn't go out and do any production for 2 whole months. And I was back in that quitting phase. I wasn't just in the quitting phase on Symmetry. I was in a quitting phase on life. But luckily, we had a brick and mortar office down here in little old Lumberton, North Carolina, the poorest city and the poorest county in all of North Carolina. And I was surrounded by people like Jordan Hunt, Brian Delaney, Devin Johnson, Gino Locklear, Luke Jackson. And by that association alone, I was able to pick myself up and get back to it. Very first month, I was back in the field. I did $47,000 worth of production on my own pen. I built my agency back up in the quarter of the time that it took me the first time. And now here I am today. It hasn't been perfect, okay? It hasn't been perfect since I got through that second quitting phase, but I'm here to tell you guys, as long as you push, you'll always be able to make it through. I sat down and I looked in the mirror and I just asked my question. I said, Aaron, why is it that you always end up here? So I thought about it and I went back to high school. I was a star tennis player in high school, #1 in the county. I got an offer to go up to Connecticut and play tennis there. I was in the state playoffs, my senior year, and I was killing my opponent. Right, I'm not as good as I was back then, so don't challenge me right now. I need a couple months out there on the court, but I was killing my opponent, and I ended up losing, and I blamed it on my coach. I went to the Army, and I was on my way to become a helicopter pilot, and at the end of my career, I procrastinated, and in filling out the necessary paperwork to make that a reality, I told myself that the people that I needed recommendations from to finish that paperwork were still back here at Fort Bragg in Fayetteville, and I was over in Italy at the time. So I blamed that on that. I came to Symmetry and I quit, and I said, well, I can make more money somewhere else. I said, Symmetry ain't paying me enough. I went to a different company. I quit because I said my wife, if my wife would get off my back, I could do more work. I went to the other job where I was 8 hours away from my family, and I quit that one. But this one I quit, and I'm not going to put this one on me. I'm going to put this one on Jordan, and for good reason. I'm glad I can blame him for it, right? Because he called me. He the one made me quit that one, right? But I realized that every time something bad happened to me, I was at the crime scene. But the thing about it is, I wasn't the detective. In my mind, I was the victim every single time. But in reality, I was the criminal. I drove myself to every single one of those crime scenes. And I realized at that time that if I drove myself there, I can turn that car around and I can drive the other damn direction. I realized at that point that the adversity that I was facing wasn't for me. It was so that I can get on here and talk to you guys about my adversity and how I've made it through, just to hopefully give one person a sliver of hope. One of my top agents mentioned yesterday, Miss Garlinda Price, she said, there's a parable that says, and a live dog is better than a dead lion. She said, because the dog is still in the land of the living, and in the land of the living, there is hope. A lot of adversity happens to us, right? And it comes from outside sources, and we have no control over it. Everyone on this call right now listening to us has faced some type of adversity, right? It's not one event that happens and it puts us into a situation. It's, and we know that there's going to be more. It's not going to be sunshine and rainbows moving on from here. There's going to be more adversity that comes, right? So prepare yourself for that, right? Gino loves to say it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, right? It's going to happen. So if you have no control over that, what do you have control over? You determine if that adversity is going to be a wing or a weight. Is it going to be a weight that pulls you down and keeps you down and you're not able to recover? And all you just sit there and you hear the same things that you've heard for your entire life. Oh, he's out for the count. He's done. She quits everything that she starts. He's just going to go find something new, right? He'll never do this again, right? Or do you find the wing where you'll be able to find a way to rise to the occasion and prove every single person that has ever doubted you wrong? You will fail by adversity, or you will be forged by it. I'm here to tell you guys, I've been forged in the fire of adversity, and I'm glad that I was, because there's someone on here that needs to know that there's hope for them. And if I could give one person out of there's a little over 1.4 thousand people on here right now, right? If I can just give one person on here a little bit of hope to push through, I would consider that a success. I've been forged by adversity. What will you be? Jay, I'm going to pass that back to you there, boss.
Wow, Aaron, man, thanks. Love your story, man. Love your heart, man. Love the authenticity there, right? We say that all the time, that people would rather follow someone that's always real than someone that's always right. You don't have to have all the answers, right, man? But we do have to be authentic in everything that we do. And if there's one thing that we pride ourselves on, is the fact that there are some companies and there are some leaders and there are some managers that you can go and that you can work with and work for, that the moment that you get 1 inch deep, Aaron, you find out, man, that what's in here isn't what was on the outside. This isn't what they were advertising, Luke. But here we've created a culture where it's like the deeper that you dig and the more layers that you peel back, it's the more real that we get and the more authentic that we get at leaders. And that's what's attractive, man. So value you for that, Aaron, man. Appreciate that. Why is it, and it's really, really difficult to find a successful father who is preceded by it, or who is followed by a successful son. Do you know why? It's tough to find it. It's because the father, they always have a tendency to remove the obstacles that it took to make them successful for their sons. And that's how this is, generation after generation after generation. And there's nothing that we can do. See, it's generation after generation at SFG. Sometimes I had a tendency early on in my business to want to remove some of those things and steal those obstacles, Aaron, and steal people's struggles. And those were the things that are going to give them the opportunity to grow, right? And just appreciate you, man, and your example. Mr. Luke Jackson, can you unmute yourself, brother Luke? I know you have a background in baseball as well, man. I think over half of your teams made up of college baseball players. That's why we call them the Jack Frat. It's literally the Jackson, fraternity, but that's just the inside joke. But I'm just going to go ahead and pass this thing over to you, brother, just to kind of talk to a little bit to us about alignment.
Appreciate it, Jordan. Man, Aaron and Gino, you are some tough acts to follow. But guys, again, my name is Luke Jackson. I'm direct to the other gentleman on the screen, Mr. Devin Johnson. Forever grateful for that. Grateful for the friendship with each and everybody on the screen. Brandon, Brian, Casey, thank you all for this wonderful system, because I didn't think I would ever find somewhere like this to call home. And I'm also very, very grateful for Brian Delaney and Edward Pritchett as well. That goes without saying. Those guys carved paved the way for us. But guys, I came here in, was it 2019, August of 2019. I just graduated. I was a 4-year college baseball player at a small D2 school right out here in Robeson County. Look at God working, right? Never saw myself in the insurance industry. It never even crossed my mind. But I had a pretty good junior year. I thought I was good enough to get drafted that senior year, and call never came, right? Call never came, and that's all I ever wanted, Jordan. That's all I ever wanted since I was 4 years old, was just to go play pro ball. I know you wanted the same thing, and it didn't happen. That call didn't come. It never came. And what I want to say is, thank God it didn't, right? Because I'd seen this opportunity a couple months before. Cheyenne walked into the room, and I realized it was actually legit, because I went to high school with her, Devin's wife, thank God. And I started here, and I would say I was lying to everybody saying I was full-time, and I wasn't even partially committed in the slightest. I went from having $600 in my bank account the day I started to September 5th, I had $42 in my name. And I was like, oh boy, we got to do something different, right? Do something different. You remember that day, Dev? That was the first time I drove down to the office to make dials with you, about a 2-hour trip. And then that was the first time I made it, and it hasn't been the last time I've made it. I probably made that drive 100 times by this point. But what I'll tell you guys is, I just, you come into this business, and you got to stop treating it as a consolation prize, because most people, I heard it said the other day, who's our, I want to say it was Matt and Brad Smith were talking about it. They said, who's our ideal business partner? It's somebody that's been very successful in their past. Something happened, and they're looking for an opportunity to rise again, right? Rise again. This is that opportunity. And I didn't see this as that opportunity for me at first. I saw this as an opportunity to make a quick buck, pay off about 40 grand in student loans, and go back and chase my dream. I mean, you can ask Devin. My first conversation with him, he said, hey man, what do you want? I said, I want you to teach me how to sell insurance for 6 months, and I'm gonna quit. I didn't even know, guys, I didn't even know that his entire team had just quit on him after 6 months. I didn't know. And thank God, just the leader that he is, he still decided to pour into me anyway. And I guess he saw something in me. But, I stuck around, and then eventually Symmetry got into me. But I do remember on May 8th, Rob Hurley had just hit agency owner, and we were on a call, and I had not been building at all. Deb, I hadn't been building. I was a pretty decent producer, not by today's standards, but by that day's standards. And I remember I talked to Drew McClure, because I was going through a rough patch. I was talking to Drew McClure, and he told me to write this letter to myself as far as who I wanted to become and who I internally knew myself to be. And I procrastinated writing it for about 2 months. And Rob Hurley got on there, and he said, he was talking about what changed for him. And he was talking about at a conference when he heard Jordan Shanks say, I had to stop treating this as a consolation prize. And it rocked my world, Dev. I mean, it hit me like a ton of bricks, because that's exactly how I'd been seeing this, as a consolation prize to my dreams of playing baseball. And I had to switch that up, or else I was gonna, this is just gonna be another failing opportunity for me. So I decided from that moment forward. I started thinking, I started writing. I don't remember what he said the rest of the call. I have no idea, because I started writing that letter, and I've read that letter every day since. I haven't missed a single day, Jordan. Not one day have I missed it, because we want to stay in alignment, guys. And that's what I'm really wanting to get to here, is you want to be in alignment with who you want yourself to be and the business that you want to grow, but the life that you want to live. Right. And if you want to be in alignment with that, first you got to figure out what that is. You know, we need to take a second and we need to write down what we want to be, who we want to become. What do you want out of this? Why are you here? Because if you're here just to make, you know, $50,000 working full time, there's an easier way to do it. I promise you. Business is hard. Chew you up and spit it out if you let it. Right, Dev? I mean, Lord knows, yeah, I can't wait for y'all to hear Devin's story. But you know, I figured out that this was the opportunity for me, Aaron. And when I did that, I decided. Tim Grover says winning is a choice. You know, and for me personally, guys, I don't think that you ever learn how to win. I think you just decide to. You know, I think that's something that's within you. I think it's that person deep inside that's just screaming to get out. You know, Jordan, it's that person. We always say when we get to heaven, there's you know, hell's meeting that person that we were destined to be and we never became, and heaven's meeting that person and being best friends because you caught me, right? Ed Milet talks about it, and that's the journey that I'm on, guys. You know, and just so you know, guys, those numbers were actually the other Steven Jacksons. Those are not mine. I'm not that good yet. That guy's a beast. Mine are a little bit smaller, but you know, step one, as far as and this is just my opinion, this is grasped from a couple of different concepts, and I'm really talking to myself here. I want y'all to know that anything that I say, it's coming out of my mouth, but I'm talking to me. I'm talking to me, and this is why my journey has turned around. You know, I decided to build a business here and build a legacy for my family and my kids that I haven't had yet. I decided that on May 8th. You know, started running 15 to 20, 25, maybe the occasional 30 interviews a week, mostly cold market. And I didn't have my first writer till December. I don't know how many months that is. I wasn't good at math, but it's a long time. So you got to have faith. There's too many examples, too many winning examples here. You know, Luke, you got to have faith, man. You got to have faith in the dark, because it's going to get hard. We know it's going to get hard. You know, if you don't know it's going to get hard, talk to Aaron. He just told you it's going to be hard. Prepare for it. Discipline that disappointment and just get ready. But you have to make that decision. And that decision is just one yes to this opportunity. And you're going to have to defend that with 1,000 no's. You're going to have to, because if everything's important, nothing's important. It's the way that I look at it. You know, I had to, you know, we'll succeed to the degree of our sacrifice. Isn't that what TD Jake says, Deb? Right. So guys, step one in my journey of building, you know, starting the beginning stages of building my business, first I had to learn how to lead me. Really had to learn how to lead me, and I had to own it. So I had to create that vision, and I had to keep it in front of me every single day. I had to stay in alignment with my vision. So I read my letter every single morning. I read it every single morning. It's the first thing I do, Jordan. I go to the gym about 6 o'clock most mornings, unless I stay with Dev, then it's about 7:30. Man likes to sleep, but I read it, and then I visualize and I meditate on it on the treadmill in front of a boatload of people, because I really don't care what anybody thinks at this point. You know, I care about my future family that I'm going to have. I care about retiring my dad. That, you know, Jordan, you're talking about having successful parents. My dad started as a plumber, and now he drives a company car, you know, works 60, 70 hours a week, got the golden handcuffs on. I'm going to get him off of them. That's my why. I know my vision. I know where I'm going. And I'm gonna fight like hell till I get there, Jordan. I'll keep fighting. Right. So you got to create that vision for yourself. You got to make that decision and defend your one yes with 1,000 no's, and keep doing it over and over and over again. I heard Zig Ziglar say it on an audio that I was listening to it every morning for like the past week, Dev. But he said we have to do exactly what we know we need to do for exactly when we know we need to do it. This is a mouthful. long enough so we can do whatever we want to do whenever we want to do it. Right. And I had to listen to that 18 times for that to kind of grasp. But in the grand scheme of things, if you want to build that team, you gotta own it first. You got to know where you're going, because nobody's going to follow somebody walking in circles. I promise you, because I walked in circles from May to December until I finally figured out that maybe I should start playing a bigger game if I want to attract bigger players. Love Danny Young talking about that. Love talking about that. And whenever it comes to building your team, I got a couple of steps for you guys that I got from Above the Line by Urban Meyer. As soon as I hit key leader, Brian Delaney calls me and he said, "That's the next book for you." I said, "Yes, sir." "So, yes, sir. Anything else, sir?" He says, "Jump." I say, "How high?" And I hope I can measure up. I love that guy. But I think step one, and Urban Meyer talks about it, is you got to hire the right people and you got to recruit the right players. Right? You got to remember, first, you got to lead yourself. You got to know where you're going. Okay? Be a leader worth following. Grow yourself. I promise you. Grow yourself. Read. And then you got to communicate your purpose and your culture with exceptional clarity and relentless consistency. Right? The same letter that I read to myself every morning, that vision that I'm casting for my future, I cast vision all the time to my team. We don't talk about the struggles, the trials. We don't talk about that a whole lot. We talk about where we're going. Right? Man, Bobby, I can't wait for you to be able to go to Disney World with your kids, next Easter instead of this Easter where you're making dials. Right? Can't wait. Can't wait. Know what's going to happen for you. And then you got to hold everyone accountable. And if someone gets out of alignment, you got to deal with it quickly and decisively. You got to be a leader. Leaders make decisions. Right? Stay accountable to yourself and hold your team accountable to the standard that you set. Okay? This is your business. Own it. Be the standard bearer, and then require that standard to be met. And then it's actually the last one. Now think about it. Actually, I skipped three. I can't read my handwriting, Dev. But step 3 is you got to make it clear to your leaders that it is their responsibility to build and maintain alignment, then equip them with essential skills. One thing that we've started doing, Dev, is those new leaders that we get, those people that, those business partners that we bring in, and we really want to build a business with them, and they really want to build a business here for their family. We invite them to the leadership table early. We start helping them get into their warm market with people that could use this opportunity. It's not all on them. I do a lot of the heavy lifting early, because Dev, you did the same thing for me. And guys, in the grand scheme of things, all this is great, but I think you just got to decide to win. You just got to make a decision and stick to it, and don't stop until you get there. Just know it's going to be hard. Care about your people, care about them, love on them. And love on them just enough, and love them enough to have a fierce but friendly conversation with them. Not for your benefit necessarily, but for theirs. They came here to build a business, and sometimes you can just get punched in the face, just hard enough, Dev, to where you kind of forget where you wanted to go. That perspective stuff you talked about, Jordan. I remember Jordan, in this, I remember Jordan called me one day and he was like, "Man, how's your day going?" And I had written like one app for like 800 APV. Out of like 10 appointments that day. I said, "Man, I'm getting my teeth kicked in." He said, "How are you getting your teeth kicked in? You just made $500 in one day as a 23-year-old. So always keep the big picture in mind, guys, and journal so you can remember how hard it is right now. Because when you get down the road, this is going to look really, really easy. But you got to look back and remember, like, this was probably the hardest thing you ever did was this next step. You got to remember that this next step is probably going to be the hardest. So remember how hard it is. Remember you can do hard things, and there's more. Go ahead, Jordy.
Appreciate that, Luke, man. The head man in charge of the Jack Frat, man. You're talking about alignment. I heard it said this way. They said that vision leaks and culture slips. Vision leaks and culture slips. Right? Time dilutes and people pollute even the best intentions that we have. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is they think they can mistake vision for clarity. Vision provides simplicity, not clarity. Vision makes things simple. When I know where I'm going, I know which paths aren't going to take me there. Clarity can only be provided in hindsight. See, vision says, I know where I'm going. I don't necessarily know each and every single step that I'm supposed to take, Luke, right? But it just knows that regardless of these, it's going to be worth it, right? The prize is worth the price. This is clarity. This is the big difference. See, Devin, I'm about to bring you up here, ma'am, and can't wait to hear you talk about some of this stuff. But you gained clarity on the trials and the things that you were going through in this business only when we were able to look back on them. Then it made sense, right? Whenever you get to a point where someone in your organization is going through the same things that you had to go through, and then you can turn around and look back, hey, this is what I did whenever I was there. This is what clarity makes things very, very clear, Luke. It's like this. It's like things that we do in the moment, and then it's like, man, looking back on them, man, that made so much sense. I understand now, right? Like I have a son, and sometimes you can just watch him sleep, and you're just sitting there and you're looking at him like, they're just perfect. They're just perfect. And you think about waking them up, and then you remember how much they get on your nerves sometimes when they're awake. So you just decide to let them sleep, right, Aaron? But anyway, you're just sitting there, Gino, and you're like, man, this is absolutely perfect. And then you go downstairs and you go into the kitchen and you see a piece of paper sitting on the counter. And on that piece of paper, Aaron, there's a little piece of artwork that they made you, that they drew you. And you're sitting there and you're thinking about it. In hindsight, you're looking back, remembering whenever they were trying to show you that at lunch, and all they wanted to do was show you this, but we were too caught up on our cell phones, or we were too caught up in our business, or we were distracted by the TV to even make sense of that. We let that moment slip right by us, man, without even knowing. That's clarity. When we get to that point and we look back and like, man, I remember when I did that. Man, did I miss the mark. Man, did I miss the mark on that. And guys, like, life isn't made up of years. It's not made up of months. It's not even made up of days, man, but it's made up of a bunch of moments, right? That we need to gain clarity on, right? So Devin, I want to pass this thing to you, man. Devin, Devin's going to tell you some stories really quickly here. One of my favorites is, just about him wrecking a car in his first 45 days in the business, in the field, just out there making a mess. Hey man, whenever we tell agents, hey, go out there and make a mess of things, I'll help you clean it up. I had no idea I was going to have 2 totaled vehicles on that ticket. But
life, Jordan.
Yeah, we let him buy us lunch. We just don't let him drive there. But Devin, I want to go ahead and pass the mic over to you, bro.
Hey man, somebody's got to live it. So again, Devin Johnson, direct to Jordan Hunt. Extremely grateful to be so. Very, very appreciative of everything that you've done for me, Jordan. Very appreciative of Brian Delaney. Thank you so much. And Brandon Casey and Brian for everything that you offer at Symmetry. I'll make this as quick as I can because I know we have, people to call and things to do today. Very grateful for all of you leaders getting a chance to just follow up behind you. That's why I don't even want to speak. I'm like, what else can be said? The title of this call, being named, talking about the virtual sales, but I saw the no limits on building an agency, and I said, man, like that's something to talk about. Like that's a really good topic. And that's something that I struggled with. And I want to give you, I have a million stories of the craziest things that have happened, but, I want to give you a quick background on everything. Is I've been here for a little over 2.5 years. I haven't tracked it. It's probably getting closer to 3 years now. And in my first 6 months, I came into this business. I quit my full-time job to be here. And in my first 6 months, I'd done some great things, went out and wrote the business. And, Brian invited me, Jordan, and Gino on the national call. And I was like, in my first 6 months, I'm on a national call. I'm talking about, this production and all these things and the cars that I wrecked in the field, and still going to see the people and tell them to come outside, look at this car. I want to show you, I wrecked my car and I still came to see you. All these crazy things. And, had all of this happen. I hit key leader in my first 6 months with, full 100% cold market. And, all these things were happening. I was firing on all cylinders. And, and I attribute all that to Jordan and Brian. It's not me. I'm not great. I was just bought in, 100% bought in. And, there's just so many things that I feel that I can just give some people some value to take away today. Is I became a key leader. We hit key leader in the 6th month. We broke out in the 6th month. That 6th month, we did $45,000 in premium with 7 riders already. I said, I'm on my way. I'm gonna hit agency owner, basically as fast as you can do it. And then here's what happened. I think Luke alluded to it earlier. The whole team walked away. And I don't blame a soul, because they should have. Because I look back on that now, Jordan, with the clarity that I have, and I said, God knows, why did they even last 6 months? You know? And I see these things, and I see how far I've developed and how far I've grown. But I, you know, everyone walked away, and I said, you know what, I've got to redo this thing. I've got to rebuild it. And hitting key leader in those months earned me a trip to the Bahamas with the Pritchett Agency. And I went to the Bahamas, and I'll never forget this moment. And I haven't shared it many times. And I said, one day I'll share it in front of the company. And I was sitting in a pool with, you know, Brian Delaney. I had this one moment where I said, okay, I get to ask Brian one question. We spent a lot of time with him, but I never had him one-on-one. And I said, like, Brian, like, how do you know who to spend your time with, Brian? Like, how do you know, like, if I don't need to spend my time with this person, if I need to be spending my time over here, and this is what he talked to me, guys. He talked to me about this. He said, none of that really matters. He said, you need to be in the business of lopsided relationships. That's what you need to be in. And what the reason I'm talking about this is because this is a limit that most of us have in building an agency. See, we need to learn how to release the limitations of success here. We need to help people release their limitations of success. And what he talked to me about was just going all in on a relationship. And we're in the compound effect as an agency. In the Hunt Agency, we do a book, you know, we're constantly going through a book. And what they just talked about in chapter 2 was this. He said that relationships aren't 50-50. They're 100-0. And he said, you must be willing to give 100% of yourself to a relationship and not expect anything in return. And that's when your relationships will be as pure as ever. And Brian was sharing these things with me in that conversation, you know, 2 years ago. And I sat there and I was listening, and this is what he talked to me about, Jordan. He said, like, what happens is we as leaders put limits on us. So how many of us on this call have said, you know, hey, if you do this, then I'll do this. How many times have we said, you know, hey, if you do 300 dials, then I'll talk with you about some appointments. If you show up to dial team, then I'll help you a little bit and role play with you. If you go out and call the carriers and do the risk assessments, then I'll help you put together plans for your clients. How many times have we done it? And here's what it does. It limits us to who we really are, Jordan. See, I understand the reason why when I'm at my best self is when I give, because I'm a giver. You can't stop me from giving. Like, how am I supposed to show up as an agency, as an agency owner, as a leader, and say that, you know, like that you must do something before I do something? No, I do something and I hope you do something with me. And then there's a point of cutoff, obviously. I think we all know that, but, you know, understand that today, that like you will experience growth and you will experience an uncapped potential in your agency the moment you take those limitations off of yourself. See, like I said, I give just because I'm a giver. Like, I listen to my people because I believe that I'm a servant. I like to serve. I enjoy that. And understand that, like, whatever you are, like, I bring excitement to every conversation because I'm daggone excited, guys. Like, that's just who I am. So, like, you know, just understand that and understand that these are the limits that you're placing on yourselves. And as long as you do it, you will not build anything explosive and worth talking about. I'm telling you. And for that, I'm forever grateful that I got an opportunity to hear from Brian. And so he could teach me some of these things. Like, look, I don't have a lot that I want to share. I want to hear what Jordan has to share more than, you know, hearing from me. I hear myself talk every day. So, you know, the one thing that I want to leave here with you is leadership is not what you teach people. It's where you take people. I believe that to the end of my life. And another thing is this, is once you, I heard it said like this. I think Tony Robbins said this. He said to divorce the story of limitation and marry the truth of your unlimited capacity, and then the whole game changes. Divorce the story of limitation and marry the story of your unlimited capacity, and the entire game is going to change for you guys. And I hope every single one of you come out of this call saying, like, man, like, this is where I'm maybe missing the mark, and this is where I can improve. improve. And I can tell you this, it's made a world of difference for me. I'll say this, my team all walked away. Every single writing agent that I had was no longer, it's crazy. They all didn't conspire against me. They all was just sick of me and sick of this business, I'm sure. But I had that conversation with Brian, and I don't find it coincidental that in 90 days, I hit my first month of agency owner, and you know how the story goes. 90 days later, I was an agency owner from that one conversation. So thank you so much, Brian Delaney. Thank you so much, Jordan, and everybody that shared value on this call today.
Thanks, Devin. We talk about servant leadership very, very often, not just in my agency, but the Delaney Master and, Pritchett and owners all the way up. And we're only qualified to lead people to the degree that we're willing to serve them. And the prerequisite for receiving is to release, right? And we say that we're a group of valuable people who value people. And we do that by always being willing to give more than we take from relationships, right? A team isn't a group of people who work together. A team is a group of people who trust and believe each other. Good companies create buy-in. Great companies create believe in. Right? I don't want to work with people who want what I have. I want to work with people who believe what I believe in. Right? Making money here is an incidental consequence of forming meaningful relationships and doing meaningful work. Money will find you. We don't seek success, man. We seek to become people of value, and money literally finds you in this business. You heard us talking about it. The guys, we're from Robinson County, North Carolina. We're from Lumberton. It's the poorest city in the poorest county in the state of North Carolina. The dual average household income is a shade over $30,000 annual. You want to talk about poverty? There's living below poverty, and then there's Robinson County. That's just where we're from, Luke, right? And to know that I've been able to come in here and that we've been able to build what we're able to build, man, I value that so much more. I value that. I remember, I can remember as a kid, Aaron, growing up, and you grew up on a farm too. And I would go out. My granddad's in his mid 80s now, Aaron. He's in his mid 80s, and he has a garden, and I just grew up, doing all that, picking cucumbers and picking corn or whatever that was, and hoeing and doing all this stuff. And I remember that he would tell me something, that there would be some days we would go out there early in the morning and we would start, working in the field, and I might finish before him, and he would always be able to go down my road and he would find weeds that I had missed, Luke. And you know what he would tell me? He would say, Jordan, he said, I want to tell you, he said, son, anything worth doing is worth doing right. He would say, anything that you do, son, anything that's worth doing is worth doing right. And man, how we can lose sight at them and just overlook all the small things that we do, guys, because it's just like Gino said, there's never going to be one big thing that we do to get to 120, and there's no one big decision that people make in their 45 living in their mom's basement. It was a bunch of small ones. It wasn't one big one. It was a bunch of small ones. And some people are going to get off this call, man, the exact same way that they changed. And some people are going to get off this call understanding their life is forever marked. Right. And it's going to be changed this simply by the decisions that they have made over the past hour. And I don't care how bad things are, where you're at in your business, where you're at in life, where your relationships are, guys, you are one liberating idea away from changing everything. One liberating idea away from changing everything. And for the people that are getting off this call and understand that they have changed, right? This is what's going to happen. Like, things aren't going to look a lot different when you get off this call. Whenever your head hits the pillow tonight, things probably aren't going to look that much different. That much different thing. You know what I'm saying, Luke? Your bank account's probably not going to look a lot, but you're going to know that something inside changed, right? Because you made a definite decision, but like, enough is enough. I've had it. Enough is enough, right? I think we all had that moment. You want to talk about lifting the limits on your business. That's where it started. But what do we do whenever what we see inside is different than what we see outside, right? Sight always distracts us from vision. Sight is a distraction of our vision, and sight is a limitation, but vision is an expansion. Great leadership, guys, doesn't start out on national calls. Great leadership doesn't start out on stage. Great leadership doesn't start out on leaderboards, man. Great leadership, man, starts in the heart of people that are just tired of being where they are and say, man, like, I was meant for more, and more is possible. That's where it starts out, being willing to do all the dirty, nasty things that other people aren't willing to do, Gino. It starts out going out. For us, it was the door knocks and doing all that kind of stuff. Right now, it's a little bit different now, Devin, right? It's a little bit different, but that's where it starts out. And we encourage you guys to do that. Find that and go do it. And understand this, that knowing is not enough, that we must act. Knowing is not enough. Information is just information, man. Information should move us to a point where moves us to action, right? And upon action, then we chase that. And then that's what moves us into the action. And that's where things change. So that's all I have. Appreciate you guys. Todd, do I pass this back to you, brother?
Yeah, man, that's incredible, guys. Just the comments through the thread, my cell phone, the text messages are blowing up, guys. You made an impact on a lot of lives today. And the nitty gritty, how to virtual sales, guys, we're a company right now. 70% of every single policy we sell right now is done through a telephone or through a Zoom link. 70%. A little over a year and a half ago, 95% of all sales were face-to-face in somebody's house. That takes strong leadership. That takes an organization that builds the leaders that you see on this type of call today to really take an organization and propel us to Mars and to everything that we have in our sights as goals for Quility. So I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you to every single one of you for the time, the intention you put into putting together this call for us all. I have a strong feeling this is going to be one of the most highly revisited and played calls on HQ. And for that, we'll forever be grateful. So for Mr. Jordan and his entire team, the Delaney Agency, and all the Pridget Agency, we appreciate you guys for being on. And let's go change some lives, folks.
Outstanding.